What is up, YouTube? Welcome in to another edition of Bucky and BK live on Texas Sports Unfiltered. Today is Thursday, August 31st, 2023. And we are just 2 days away from the Texas Longhorns opening up the 2023 season against the Rice Owls. We are locked and loaded on today's show. A big-time announcement coming at 9:30, a little bit later this morning. You definitely want to keep it locked in to hear some big changes coming to Texas Sports Unfiltered. That's right. I told y'all we weren't done adding to our lineup. We've got a big-time 5-star recruits coming into the mix, and we are excited to tell y'all about that at 9:30, plus a few other announcements we get to make this morning. I'm telling you, we've got a lot going on here on Texas Sports Unfiltered as we inch closer and closer to game day. Bucky, what's going on, my friend?
How are you, my man? I'm doing fantastic. Buck ons, buck offs today. Big buck on to you. Big buck on to the rest of our staff, and big buck on to the Covert family. Got to give them my biggest buck on as of this week. Buck on to the Coverts and one of our main sponsors, and just thank you to those folks and the people that are involved with the Covert Motor Corporation. We really, really appreciate them and appreciate what they're doing for us. But a big buck on to yourself and Trey, and of course, all the others that have joined us, Chip, and of course, Zay Collier. But buck ons galore today. Buck on to Texas football.
That's
right,
it, baby. Come
Texas football is just around the corner, man. I'm excited.
We are too. We'll have a pregame show on Saturday. We've got a postgame show on Saturday as well. Buck, if you want to make the announcement about where we're going to be for our pregame show this weekend, fire away.
Yeah, we will be located out there in the Hill Country, of course, the beautiful Hill Country, and we will be at Covert BK, the city of Bee Cave, Texas, USA, America, as well. Is the place that we will reside for our pregame show. And the Coverts and Danny Covert and the gang out there, and Mike and Stacy, we have a room. We have an office. We are officed out of BK, USA, America. That's where our office is, and we are so excited about being out there and doing work for the Covert family. And it will be an awful lot of fun. We'll be doing the pregame show there. We have a 2-hour pregame show. We're not dilly-dallying with 1 hour pre-games, or we're not streaming things where stuff stops and it gets, then you got to catch up 5 minutes later. We will be doing 2 hours of pregame there on Saturday, starting at noon, I believe. We'll quit a half hour before tip-off. And then
tip-off?
Tip-off.
We're doing basketball pre-games?
Yeah. Hey, we're probably going to be there for that too. So just be aware that we have a place to be. I know people are all over the place on Saturday, and Covert Bee Cave is the place to be. We want to sell you some Ram trucks. We want you to get ready for dove season, deer season. We want to sell you some Cadillac Escalades when you're going downtown or out. Yeah, we want to be a part of what the Coverts are doing, and they want to be a part of what we're doing as we grow. They are helping us grow, and thanks to Danny and the gang out there and Chance and the works, we love it. We love being a part of that. They love being a part of us. They want us to grow, which is kind of cool. They want Texas Sports Unfiltered to grow, and they want to be a part of it. And we want to be a part of the Covert family. So big buck on to them. We will be there for your pregame show. 2 hours of pregame. I don't know what you can do in an hour. I don't know what you can do in 45 minutes. I don't know what you can. During the game, nobody wants to hear you during the game. They want to watch the game. So they're going to be listening to us, and then we'll have post-game available for you also.
Yep, just like the rest of our programming here on Texas Sports Unfiltered, it's going to be commercial-free. So You're going to get 2 hours straight of the Buck and I previewing the Longhorns and the Rice Owls. And, of course, we'll have a pregame show every game day this season, and we're super excited about that. So, yes, thank you to the Covert Auto Group, to our friends out at Covert Bee Cave. A big buck on to them for hosting us this weekend, maybe throughout the 2023 Texas football season. So there's some big news right off the bat. I'll give some other big news. It's a big day for announcements.
It is a big day.
TSU. How about post-game this weekend? And I think most weekends going forward, the post-game show here on Texas Sports Unfiltered Will be hosted by Trey Elling III and Kevin Dunn.
Dunster.
That's right. Cabin Dune, who's been hosting Texas football post games for years now, man. He's so good at that stuff. So is Trey. They're both super excited to get rolling. So, yes, we will have a post-game show with Trey and Kevin right after the game on Saturday. And, of course, we'll get pop-ins from Zay and from Chip and from Wags and all of our other Texas Sports Unfiltered talents. They will pop in with us at times during the pregame show, and they will hop on the postgame show with Trey and KD as well. So super excited to make that announcement. And that postgame show is going to start right after the game. You're not going to have to wait an hour to hear a bunch of commercials and scoreboard updates from around the country. No, we get it. You guys want to hear about Texas, and more importantly, you want to talk about Texas. You will have the opportunity to do that right after the game on Saturday with Trey and Kevin Dunn. Really looking forward to that. Hell, we're all looking forward to Longhorn game day, but excited about what we've got rolling out for Texas Sports Unfiltered.
Let me say good morning to the soldiers at Fort Cavazos, Texas, the soldiers in the state of Texas, and all those that fight for us each and every day all over this wide, wide world of sports and more. Thank you so very much for what you do. Thank you to you. Thank you to your families for keeping us safe. We do appreciate it, and we appreciate it each and every day. Thank you very, very much, and do be safe out there.
Amen to that. So we're 2 days away from Texas football, Buck, but we've got college football tonight. That's right. We had week 0 last weekend, but week 1 of the 2023 college football season begins tonight, and we've got a couple of decent games. We've got one really, really intriguing game. The first ranked team this weekend gets going tonight. That is the 14th ranked Utah Runnin' Utes, of course, the defending Pac-12 champions. They open up their season at home tonight against the Florida Gators out of the SEC. How's that for a non-con game to wet the palate for 2023? These two teams played last year in the Swamp, a big comeback win for Florida. Everyone's like, oh, Billy Napier might have something special. That was his first game that he coached at the University of Florida. It was a very up and down season for the Gators. They went 6-6 in the regular season and then got boat raced by Oregon State in a bowl game. Meanwhile, Utah obviously figured some things out, right? They beat USC twice and ended up winning the Pac-12 championship and making it all the way to the Rose Bowl in 2022. But a pretty intriguing matchup, Buck. And this thing gets more intriguing because, unfortunately, Utah's starting quarterback, the Texas transfer, Cameron Rising, not expected to play, still coming off of that ACL injury. There's been mixed reports throughout the week about whether or not he's going to go. But as of last night, the word on the street is that Rising is not expected to suit up for the Utes tonight. So maybe an opportunity for Florida to open up another season with another victory against Utah.
Yeah, I don't see that happening, not in Utah. This is a team that when they play at home, they play physical. I know Cam Rising is a physical, accurate quarterback, and he runs like a running back. I mean, that guy is like a runaway bull when he gets loose. But his physicality gets him hurt an awful lot too. He takes some blows. He's had that knee. He's had both knees, as a matter of fact. He's had an ankle problem, and I've seen him get smooth knocked out in games and try to come back into games. He's a physical player, but they're going to have to probably go with a walk-on, it sounds like, BK, who's going to be their quarterback. But them at home, I think their football team's just too physical for Florida in year 2 for Billy Napier. I think this will be a really tough physical game, and I don't know if Florida's going to be able to mix it up with this group. By the way, congratulations to you, and your raindrops keep falling on your head. That's right. I did not call for that yesterday, but it was within the 24-hour span, I believe. That would be on a Wednesday. No, it didn't happen, did it? No. But you did have some rain.
I had a rain drop hit me yesterday in Oak Hill.
How can we tell if that was actually a drop or did somebody spit from the upper deck somewhere? I mean, do we really know? Did it feel like really a raindrop hit you right in the head?
What is this, Seinfeld? We had a magic loogie going on here.
What happened? How is that possible that you get one raindrop, the one raindrop that falls in Oak Hill, it falls on you?
Yeah.
That's being blessed, by the way. That's special. Yes.
That's such a tease, man. It's like a girl flirting with you all night, and then at 1:59, she's like, "I have a boyfriend." That's what it was.
I've got a boyfriend.
I got by the gods yesterday, man. That hurt. No, I'm walking into Office Depot. Shout out to them, by the way.
There you go.
Getting some business cards for us because, we are a business and we are official now.
That's right.
And literally, as I'm walking into the store, I feel a raindrop hit my arm. And I stopped in my tracks like a caveman the first time they saw fire. Like, what the hell is this?
Somebody tell this guy that was from probably the air conditioner on top of the roof just spit one down on you. Come on, that was not a real raindrop.
I literally stopped in my tracks just like in the middle of the street, just the walkway, walking from where the parking spots are to where the front of the store is. And I'm like, what is this? And I waited for like 2 minutes, like just hoping and praying and almost expecting that I'd feel at least one more drop, right? Hoping that it'd be a lot more drops and we'd actually get some rain because we need it so badly. And I waited for like 2 minutes and got nothing. And I'm like, all right,
the lucky one. You're the
let me go in the store. Let me get these business cards. And maybe by the time I'm walking out, it will actually be raining outside. But sure enough, nope. By the time I left, and I was in there for 5 minutes tops. By the time I left, no more rain, no more even look of rain. And that was
but you were lucky. You've got a little growth on you. That arm's liable to grow a bunch of hair in that spot. So be very, very careful today.
It's about to be Barry Bonds on my right arm. It's a PED that I got there, man.
All right. I interrupted you. Go ahead and tell me about the Utes and what they're going to do to Florida today.
Yeah, look, Rice-Eccles Stadium where Utah plays, that's a tough place to win. I mean, it really is one of the better home field advantages in all of football.
I think their home field advantage is their coach. He's been around for a while.
Yeah, Kyle Whittingham's been there forever. And you talk about guys who do more with less. It feels like Utah does more with less every single year. Now, they've had some talented cats on that roster over the last few years. Don't get me wrong. But it feels like more often than not, people are picking other teams in Utah's conference to win Utah's conference. And somehow, some way, they find a way to get it done. I mean, they played in back-to-back Rose Bowls, Buck. Like the University of Utah in a conference with USC and Oregon and Washington and UCLA. I mean, some bigger brands and some programs with more history than Utah. Kyle Whittingham has just found a way to make this team relevant year in and year out. And some people were like, well, what's going to happen when they make the move to the Pac-12 conference? Well, they've more than held their own. I mean, they've been one of the best teams in the Pac-12 since joining the league. So,
for sure.
This is his 19th year. I mean, that guy is gotten looks at from other schools, from bigger programs. He's always turned them down. He's built something pretty special at Utah. And you're right. I mean, they're expected to do some pretty big things again this season. They're not the favorite in the Pac-12, but they are very much in the mix to win that conference again.
For a third straight time.
Yeah, for a third straight time. And for Florida, they've got a new quarterback as well. Tell me if you remember this name, Buck. Graham Mertz. Remember that dude?
No. I thought you were going to say JT Daniels again.
Nah, he'll be there next year. He's got 1 year at Rice.
After Rice.
Yeah, then he'll go back to the SEC for his 14th year of eligibility. Now, Graham Mertz was at Wisconsin before this, and he started for a few years up there. And
he's not the lefty, is he?
He wasn't very good. I think he is the lefty.
Wow.
Yeah, and he wasn't that good at Wisconsin, and now he's the starter in the SEC at the University of Florida. So his Gator debut will be tonight on the road at Utah. I mentioned it. Florida's an interesting team, right? They got that big win against the Utes to start 2022. Then they lost to Kentucky in week 2. They did have some nice wins, right? They went into College Station. Maybe that's not that nice of a win considering how bad the Aggies were last year, but they did beat A&M. But they also lost to Vanderbilt. Like, it was a very roller coaster year 1 for Billy Napier. And you know how it is, Buck. It's the same thing at the University of Texas, right? At the University of Florida. I mean, basically, as soon as you have your first loss, your seat starts getting warmer.
Yes, it does.
I know it's only year 2 for Billy Napier, but Gator fans are expecting a little bit of a jump after a losing season in his first year. So big year for Billy Napier and company. And once again, they can obviously start it off in a big way with a road win at Utah.
Got a young running back going, I think, going into his sophomore year, and he can scoot. So this offensive line is, we watched what they did and how they grew a little bit with Richardson at quarterback last year towards the end of the season. But their run game should be pretty potent this season with that offensive line too. And they always got talented guys on defense. If they can come together and stop the run. Once again, it's a matter for them of, being able to run and stop the run this year for them. So we'll see what happens at quarterback, but I think they'll really rely on the run game to start out the football season.
Yeah. And how about one last thing on this? How about the opening of the season for Utah this year, right? They host Florida tonight, and then next Saturday, they're in Waco taking on Baylor. How about that for a non-conference slate? Credit to Utah, man. Kyle Whittingham, they're not scared of anybody.
No.
Opening up against an SEC team and then going on the road against a Big 12 team, that is big time there for the year.
I like him for the fact that when he plays, they play physical ball on both sides. They're not afraid to mix it up. That's what I'm saying. If that Florida run game is not up to snuff tonight, they will get stuffed in Utah. They'll get pile driven by that defense, and that thing will be all night. That's an all-night group too. Kyle Whittingham's team plays for 4 quarters, and they will get after you. And one thing they won't shy away from is contact. They're not a finesse team whatsoever on offense or defense. So look out for Florida if the run game's not going. And the same thing for next week. They're, like I said, they can take that group on the road. He always has been able to do that, and he will do that at Baylor. That should be an awful lot of fun in his first 2 games. And for college football to see those first 2 games too.
Yeah, hopefully Cam Rising is back in action for that one. Hopefully he plays tonight, right? He's a fun player to watch. He's an electric player, and he's been really, really good for Utah over his couple of years as a starter up there. But
they really don't talk much about him, BK, as being one of those NFL type of quarterbacks because of the fact that he gets hit a lot, he gets injured a lot because he likes to tuck and run as if he's a big fullback. So we'll see, because he'll have the numbers throwing the football. They'll have 4 tight ends that he'll throw to. They always do. I mean, they do. Some NFL type tight ends over the last 2 years. So, and he's got another one again this year. So we'll see if he can get the ball down the field.
Absolutely. Utah, a 4.5-point favorite in this one tonight. Any lean, Buck?
Utah.
Taking the Utes. No 1,000-unit play, though, right?
No, not on the Utes, no.
Because you are down 1,000 units, so you do need to get our audience back up to even at least this weekend. So we'll have 1,000-unit lock, hopefully, from the Buck coming tomorrow. A couple other games tonight before we start to shift our focus to Texas and Rice. UCF makes its, I guess, Big 12 debut. They're not playing a Big 12 team, but it is their first game since becoming a member of the Big 12 Conference. They're playing Kent State. UCF is a 35.5-point favorite. Not a lot to talk about in that one. The other intriguing game nationally is a conference matchup. Nebraska at Minnesota in the Big Ten. And look, these aren't the 2 sexiest teams in the Big Ten. I get it. Nebraska's been awful. Minnesota's just been perennially average. But obviously you get the debut of Matt Rule taking his talents on the road to Minneapolis. Thoughts on this one and thoughts on maybe what Nebraska is going to be in Matt Rule's first year?
Well, it's going to be better than what happened with Scott Frost. Matt Rule will show up to the office and actually show up to practices and won't be at the golf course. That guy's been living at that office and getting the Cornhuskers ready to start off their season in the Big Ten. I mean, I like Matt Rule an awful lot as a college coach. He wasn't very good as an NFL coach, and there's a lot of guys that just aren't suited for it. I don't know if he is or not. He had his first shot was not very good, but we know how he can start a program and change a program. And this may be the right guy for Nebraska. I think we all want Nebraska football to be good. I just do. I like when Nebraska is good, and especially when they're out of the Big 12 and good. They can be good in the Big 10. We never need them to be. They weren't that good in the Big 12. So
even when they were good in the Big 12, Texas beat them every year.
Absolutely.
Like they were never a problem for Texas. So I've got no beef with Nebraska.
Everybody wants to see what Matt Rule is like back in college football and what he's done. And that talking about a program that needed a change after the last 3 years of Scott Frost. Yeah, this is the change that they probably needed. It's the change they wanted. And Nebraska fans will show up. Yeah. They will be there.
Well, they showed up. Did you see they played a volleyball game at their football stadium last night? They had 90,000+ people there. Yeah, and Nebraska is one of the best volleyball programs in the country. They've got a massive fan base. But, Texas, come on, defending national champs. What do you mean?
That's what I'm saying. That's not Texas. They're one of the best. That's not Texas.
Yes. So that was pretty cool for them. They've got a rabid fan base. That goes without saying. Everybody knows that Nebraska fans are loyal. But, I said this about Scott Frost, and I was clearly wrong. I'm going to say it about Matt Rule. If he's not the guy, who is?
Yeah, you're right.
Like at Nebraska for years, I mean, they've tried and they had some decent success with Pelini, and they let him go kind of controversially. And then since then, they've just been rotating through coaches seemingly every other year, kind of like the University of Texas. There's another Texas-Nebraska comparison there. But I thought Scott Frost would work. The chosen son. He was so good at UCF and obviously knew the program well because he played at Nebraska. And clearly that did not. I feel the same way about Matt Rule. Like with what he did at Baylor, I know his NFL stint sucked, but he's a good builder of college programs. He's done it at a couple of different schools.
He's done that at Temple, which was, I mean, how you do that at Temple, I'll never know.
Yeah, and then it's just like if he can't figure out Nebraska, dude, I'm done. Like I'm giving up on Nebraska. I'm going to assume they're going to be awful every single year. If
no, then they just need to go ahead and hire Urban Meyer. Just try it. Just try that one time.
They want to.
Everybody kind of likes to try it one time with that guy, so he'll be the next guy up if it doesn't work. But I think Matt Rule will make it work.
Yeah, we'll see. They've got Jeff Sims, the Georgia Tech transfer, at quarterback. If that name doesn't sound familiar, well, it probably shouldn't because Georgia Tech sucks at football and nobody really cares about them that much. All right, so those are your two big games tonight. We'll obviously talk more about this weekend's big matchups in college football later today and more so tomorrow. But let's shift gears, Buck, and talk some Texas football. Our buddy Jeff Howe over at Horns 24/7, who might be a bigger part of Texas Sports Unfiltered.
Oh,
in the not too distant future.
There you go. There's a semi-announcement.
That's all I will say. That is all I will say. That's not the big announcement coming at 9:30. We do have a big announcement coming at 9:30, so make sure you stay tuned. But Jeff Howe put together a piece, Texas versus Rice, 5 key opposing players to know ahead of the meeting between the Longhorns and the Owls. Look, it's hard to hype up Rice too much, right? I mean, Texas is
of course you can't do that, and you refuse to do it anyway, so
yeah, they're a bunch of nerds, dude.
The nerds.
Like, stick to school.
Quit playing football, just stick to school. Or play us for a game and then go back to school and don't do any more football from that point on. You're going to get a big check. It'll help support all the rest of your athletic programs, and then just quit football for the year.
That's fine. And then go be doctors or engineers or go change the world, make something happen. Good for you, Rice. Just leave the football to us, the University of Texas, okay?
Well, they've got to be players. They have players on the football team.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, the most known player on the Rice football team is JT Daniels, right? Yes. I mean, he is obviously not coming out of high school, but if you look at his high school recruitment, he is the highest rated recruit to ever be a part of the Rice football program. I mean, this guy was the 6th ranked player overall in the class of 2018, obviously has legitimate Power 5 experience, playing a couple of years at USC, being a part of the Georgia football team for a couple of years, playing at West Virginia last year. I mean, this guy is 53 yards away from reaching the 7,000-yard mark for his passing career. Now, it helps when you play 10 years of college football, Buck, but this guy's played in some tough atmospheres. He's played at Texas twice. He's played in some big games. He's played against good teams. Like, he's not going to be super flustered by the atmosphere, by the situation, by going up against Texas. He's been there, done that in college football. He's been on the run an awful lot in his career. He's not been at places where he could sit back in the pocket, except for USC where he first started. That's probably the only spot that he was at, that when he comes in the game, he's running for his life. And so he's used to running for his life, and that's what will happen to him on Saturday again. But he does bring experience, which you don't even really care about. What do you care about experience? You don't care about that. What is that? Come on. What is it? Throwing bean bags or whatever it is? Cornhole? I hired you. I care about experience. There you go. Come on, man. There you go. But he'll bring that to the table. But that's not a real talented team. They have a couple of other guys that will help him out. But once again, he will have another Saturday where he's running for dear life for him. He'll be the man on the run for sure. You talking about cornhole over there? It's kind of early. I don't want to be watching JT Daniels playing cornhole on the field. I don't want to be watching anybody playing cornhole on the field on Saturday. Because where I'm from, that's got a different meaning. Different, yeah. Yeah, and far north Dallas, the mean streets of north Dallas. Yeah, I came up out the mud. Don't forget about that. No, so I won't forget. JT Daniels, obviously number 1. And, man, there was a time this dude was thought to be a potential number 1 overall pick in the draft. obviously that ship has sailed. But once again, this guy's experience. He's played at Texas a couple of different times in his career. Neither of those games went very well. You're right. He was running for his life at USC. He was running for his life at West Virginia, and now he's got the Rice offensive line in front of them. So
yes,
if this Texas D-line, Buck, is as good as we think it's going to be, yeah, JT Daniels should be scrambling a lot.
A lot, for sure. When he drops back, it's time to run. I mean, when that clock goes off, that clock's going to go off real quick for him on Saturday, but he's used to it. He did it at West Virginia. The clock started ticking real quick at West Virginia. You know what? He had some decent games at West Virginia because he had some decent wide receivers while he was there. This group that he has right now, he's got one, and this one will be living off his brother's name here quickly.
Yep, and that is the number 2 player on this Rice football team that we need to be keeping an eye on, according to Jeff Howe of Horns 24/7. That is Luke McCaffrey. Yes, the brother of Christian McCaffrey. This guy was recruited out of high school as a quarterback, Buck. And speaking of Nebraska, that's where he signed out of high school back in 2019. Played a couple of years with the Huskers before transferring to Rice and then eventually transitioned to wide receiver. He actually did play quarterback the last time Texas and Rice played back in 2021. That game, the Longhorns won 58-0. Christian McCaffrey came in as a backup quarterback, threw 3 passes in that one, but now he is a full-time wide receiver. And Rice's leading receiver from a season ago was not Luke McCaffrey. It was this guy, Bradley Rosner, who entered the transfer portal. He's gone. So like
I'm out of here. He said, I'm out.
Yeah, this year, Luke McCaffrey, the number 1 target for JT Daniels. And if there's any skill position player the Longhorns are going to have to focus on slowing down on Saturday, it's him.
Yeah, and the way this secondary that I think is going to be one of the top secondaries in the country has looked in fall camp, they've got a good chance of slowing him down because that defensive line should be in that backfield in a hurry. There shouldn't be much time, for JT to have to throw balls down the field. So I expect for him to be covered out, whether he's double teamed, or whatever the way they're going to play him, man to man against him. We'll find out pretty quickly on Saturday what kind of game this young guy is going to have. I mean, I would expect that if he's a wide receiver, he'll also be probably punt returner, kickoff returner, because when you have a pretty good athlete like this with a team like Rice, you got to use him in different positions, especially in special teams, to try to help your team with their field position and big plays.
Yep. I am kind of fascinated to see what Rice's game plan is going to be, Buck. Like, usually when you think of massive underdog going on the road into Goliath's house, you're like, oh, they're going to want to run the ball, control the clock, keep their offense on the field, keep the opposing offense on the sideline.
Right.
But I think Rice might be throwing to set up the run a little bit.
Sure.
Like, with JT Daniels, with Luke McCaffrey, look, they don't have a ton of talent. I'm not going to sit here and try to scare you about Rice's passing game, but I wouldn't be surprised if the passing game, especially the quick passing game, because of, you're right. I mean, Texas clearly has the edge on the line of scrimmage, and if they try to drop back and let guys get open down the field, it might be a long, long afternoon for JT Daniels, but they might try to go with the quick passing game to set up the run a little bit on Saturday and hope that thing works a little bit. So this Texas secondary might be tested, so to speak, early on this weekend.
Yeah, and I think on the other side, I think they've got to take some chances on defense. They have to bring some players, especially if they see C.J. Baxter in the game. They're gonna have to on pass situations take some chances, bring a linebacker, bring their defensive end. I mean, they've got a pretty skilled defensive end. They're going to have to bring those guys. They can't sit back and try to play base defense. They'll just get eaten apart. I mean, they'll get picked apart, short pass-wise, catch and runs with the tight ends, Jordan Whittington. But if they take those chances and Texas goes over the top on them, boy, there can be some quick scores. Hell, if they try to play base defense, Texas can still get behind them. It's not like they can drop back in 3 deep and get back fast enough. I mean, that distance between their corners dropping in 3 deep coverage, it will quicken in a matter of strides for some of these wide receivers at Texas, I believe. So they can go one way or they can go the other way. They can play base defense and get kind of hammered and just got to get picked apart, or they can take some chances and you'll get a lot of one-on-ones. I don't know if this Rice team wants to do the one-on-one thing. But you can't. But once again, I mean, pick your poison. What do you want to do? Do you want to sit back and get hammered and have the run game run down your throat, the short passing game, guys catching and running? Or do you want to bring guys off the edge? You want to bring double guys, bring safeties, and have one-on-ones in that secondary? I'm kind of a conservative guy in that point. Just go ahead and cut me with the little cuts. Cut me with the little ones. I'm not taking those chances against a team against Xavier Worthy going through my secondary. No, I'll sit back for a while. It'll be 1,000 degrees on Saturday. I'll play base defense and see if Texas is up to making those throws. If Quentin Ewers can he make the throws? Can this offensive line run block? I'll load up the run game instead of worrying about the passing game. I'll play base coverage and just sit back there and let Sanders have a field day in those gaps and in those seams, and Whittington had that. I'm not bringing a lot of pressure. I'm just not going to do it.
You're conservative, huh? That's a little bit of an upset. I didn't expect that.
I don't want you going over the top. I don't want Xavier Worthy getting his fill of passes in game number one. I just don't want it to happen to me. I'm not worried I don't have to play Texas but one time. I think I'll let them beat me up instead of go over the top. Then again, once again, it's not to say that your base coverage, guys can't get behind you. You just don't have enough athletes. You know what I'm saying? They just don't have enough skill guys in their secondary or their wide receiver room to get past you in one way, or you still can get past them in their base coverage too.
Hey, how about a super chat from our guy Grant?
There's Grant again. Look at him. He's just loading us up, man.
Appreciate that, Grant. How about this comment? Urban Meyer is like that. Urban Meyer is like that. We all want to hit once, but not date or marry. LOL.
No. There he is with his wedding picture. Nice. Very nice, Grant.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the $4.99, man.
Yeah, don't tell your wife that you're trying to hook up with Urban Meyer, Grant. Kidding, brother. Grant's been a big fan of ours for a long time, man.
Been a big donator, too.
Yeah, we appreciate the donation, Grant. Yeah, if you send one of those super chats, we will stop whatever we're doing and acknowledge you and read your comment and give you some love. So we do appreciate that support, Grant. That means a lot. Yeah, Urban Meyer, look, he's one of the best coaches in college football history. The off-the-field stuff, it is what it is. And I don't want to poo-poo that and act like it's nothing. There's a lot of baggage that comes in with Urban Meyer, and that goes to the relationship deal.
I just don't want him to be the coach where I have my fandom. I just don't want it.
Right. Yeah, it's exactly. It's one of those things where it's like you have to separate the art from the artist kind of deal. It's like, well, you love Texas football. You're always going to root for Texas football, but you don't love the guy leading the program.
No.
Like, that's where you'd have to be if Urban Meyer was your coach. It's not going to happen here at Texas. I mean, there was a chance maybe a couple of years ago it happened,
sure.
But my reasoning is, there's a couple of different reasons. Number one, the way things went down in Jacksonville, like Urban Meyer now has more egg on his face than he did a couple of years ago.
Sure.
Number two, look what happened with Chris Beard. Like Texas moved pretty swiftly on that. And Chris Del Conte was all about it's a privilege to coach at the University of Texas.
That's right.
And if you do something to screw that up, you're gone. Sorry. So obviously off the field stuff matters to Chris Del Conte. It matters to the University of Texas. And I think the Urban Meyer ship has sailed. But if he wants to get back into coaching, someone's going to hire that dude, Buck. That.
Of course they are. Of course they are. It's a team that's going to be on their last leg. We have to do something. We've got a big fan base. We need to take this chance. Maybe he's a different guy. He's not a different guy. He never will be a different guy away from the football field. He's not saved like Bobby Petrino. You know what I mean? He has not been saved. It's going to take a lot of saving to do for Urban Meyer. He's just going to collect checks and be the bad boy and still probably be a pretty good football coach. But hell, he wasn't at Jacksonville. He was not a good football coach. That part of where he was supposed to be good at, he was not good at that.
No.
So the off the field stuff, I mean, if you're not winning games and you're not and people don't have respect for you on the field, and then you're an asshole off the field, forget about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can't treat professionals like you treated college players.
You can't kick the kicker. I mean, come on. You can't
kick the kicker.
Come on, man.
That is great. All right, continuing on this list, 5 players to watch from this Rice football team as we now sit 2 days away from kickoff between the Longhorns and the Owls. Linebacker, number 33, Myron Morrison. 6'3", 225, had a career year in 2022, career high in tackles for loss, sacks, interceptions, pass breakups, fumble recoveries. He is the highest graded returning defender on the roster, according to Pro Football Focus. So
that's a big kid. That's a good-looking guy right there. Now that's a good-looking football player at 6'3", 2.25. Probably running more like 230 or more. I mean, he's a big dude.
Yeah.
So
Middle linebacker. Expect that dude to probably lead Rice in tackles. That's a name I think the TV broadcasters are going to be calling a lot on Saturday. That guy, is kind of their do-it-all linebacker, one of the captains of that defense. Myron Morrison, a name that you might see a little bit this weekend. Moving on, a couple more defensive players to get to here. Josh Piercy, the edge rusher. He's the best edge rusher that they have. According to Jeff Howe, quote, without question, Piercy is the biggest threat to get to Quinn Ewers as the rush end in Rice's defense. 6'2", 245, two-time captain, had 6.5 sacks last season, was also credited with 24 total pressures. This is the type of guy, Buck. Bless you. Is that a sneeze?
Oh, that was half cough, half sneeze. Thank you very much.
Well, half bless you. This is the type of guy who could get invited to the Senior Bowl. He's one of the he's one of, if not the most draftable players. Maybe JT Daniels is still in the mix because of what he was coming out of high school. Although I don't think NFL teams are going to be lining up to call that dude at this point. But Josh Piercy, that's the guy who might be the most NFL-like player on this Rice defense, and he's at the edge, so he'll be a little bit of a test for, I guess, Christian Jones and Kelvin Banks.
He won't be a test for Kelvin Banks. Christian Jones, yes. No, Kelvin Banks with his long arms, a guy 6'2", 245 is going to be going as big as Kelvin Banks is. This guy will look like he's 240, 245 or so, but when he goes against Kelvin Banks, he's going to like a 212 guy. Former running back turned defensive end. That's what he's going to look like. Fullback turned defensive end against Kelvin Banks. He'll get engulfed with those long arms of Kelvin Banks. I don't think Kelvin there shouldn't be very much problems with that. On the other side with Christian Jones, maybe a speed thing may be his biggest skill against maybe a Christian Jones. I don't expect him to give Banks any problems.
I'm with you.
I expect him to get driven right down into the ground at 6'2". Yeah.
If Kelvin Banks is the same player he was last year, he is going to dominate that matchup. And look, Josh Piercy, okay, a nice player, but think about who you're going up against next weekend, right?
Right.
Dallas Turner at Alabama. They lost Will Anderson. He was the first defensive player selected in this year's NFL draft. That guy was a monster. Well, guess what? Alabama might have the first defensive player taken in next year's draft too,
right,
with Dallas Turner, who actually was better against the Longhorns than Will Anderson was last year. Kelvin Banks did a great job against Will Anderson in that game in Austin in week 2 in 2022.
It's really strange because he made Will Anderson look short. He made him look like a short guy because he's such a monster.
Yeah.
And his long arms. So this will be a matchup that it'll be speed against girth. And in this one, I think girth will probably win on this with Banks. Once he gets his long arms on this dude, then he'll press that body against them and start throwing them all over the place. And there won't be maybe Big 12 officials. So the commissioner won't have this one in his pocket.
There could be Big 12 refs for this one. And
yes.
It wouldn't make much of a difference. It's the games that are supposed to be close that I'm worried about the officiating in. This one, it could be Tim Donaghy betting on Rice. Money line in this one. And I wouldn't be too scared from a Texas perspective. And interesting to know that you're a girth guy, Buck. You're team girth. That's what you prefer?
I'm team girth when it comes to tackles. I mean, I like long arms, but I do like girth too. I don't like when a speed rusher can get on that outside shoulder and get up underneath you and then get around you, forcing that quarterback to jump really deep in the pocket. And that's where that inner rush comes from. I like girth, that when you try that and you try that little wheel move, or that swim technique with that inside arm, that thing gets caught into the girth, and then you just get driven. I mean, I like when they drive them into the ground. Push them. NFL is nice when they push them past the pocket, but girth is nice when they get a hold of them and then they start leaning on them and they start going down. At 6'2", you're going this way. I like when they go down flat. I love that. I love girth. Girth is great.
God, we're gonna have to make that a drop here. Team girth, and you're doing this weird hand signal.
Girth goes like this.
So you prefer the girth over the length, huh? That's what you're looking for.
Oh, yeah. But Banks has both, though. He's got those long arms, and he's got the girth to go along with it.
Hey, I haven't seen it, man. I'm not looking at that type of stuff, so I don't know how you know that.
What, length and girth?
Yeah.
I know that well.
Oh,
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
okay. All right. I don't know how to transition away from that one. Well, congrats on being on Team Girth,
There
Buck.
you go.
The last player to keep an eye out for on this Rice football team. How about this name? Gabe Taylor. He is the younger brother of the late, great Sean Taylor, Buck, who, of course, was one of the best safeties in the world in college and early in his NFL career before he had his life tragically taken for him in his early 20s. Gabe Taylor, the younger brother of Sean Taylor, started all 13 games for Rice last year, career high 60 tackles, also broke up 8 passes to go with 2 interceptions. And he's 5'10", 193, the best cover guy in this Rice secondary, and a guy who can lay the boom. I mean, he's not Sean Taylor.
No.
That goes without saying. He's playing
He's
at
not
Rice.
6'2", yeah.
But he does have those genes in him. He does have some of that blood in him. This guy's a hard hitter and can make some plays too. Gabe Taylor, one of the best players on this Rice defense that Texas is going to have to account for.
Yeah, he's kind of a ball hawk, so you got to be careful. You can't throw behind guys because still I expect Taylor to be the guy trail mode. You know what I'm saying? I don't expect him to be side by side with these wide receivers that are doing these crossing routes. But if you're off on your throws and you throw behind, he doesn't miss many. He's got nice hands. He'll make the plays if you give him the plays. But I don't expect him to be able to go foot to foot with these guys when it comes to flat out speed. You know what I mean? He's a good athlete, but you have to give it to him. Quinn Ewers will have to give him balls that are poorly thrown because I just don't think he can. I mean, as much as we want to, he's one of their better players, but he's still not in the same league as the wide receivers at the University of Texas right now. He's just not there.
No, Texas should have no trouble.
Right, and a couple of these guys are going to get invited to the Senior Bowl for this Rice team, and that's a pretty good honor if you get invited to go to the Senior Bowl, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's a big deal. I mean, they've got some players on their team. It's a very experienced bunch, as you mentioned earlier. Yeah, look, and they're coming off of their best season under Mike Bloomgren, who is entering his 6th year as the head coach at Rice. They've got a lot of guys back. Obviously, they bring in JT Daniels. So they're better than the team Texas saw 2 years ago, right? Like that game was 58-0. That was the final. That was the score after the 3rd quarter. I mean, Texas could have made that 70 if they really wanted to. They called off the dogs pretty early in that one. This Rice team is a little bit better than that one. Now, this Texas team is also better than that one too.
True.
But still, like I'm not expecting 58-0 on Saturday.
Well, one thing they'll have to be able to run the ball. And we're going to, as we start to break this down a little bit more as we get closer to the game, BK, we're going to have to look, can Rice run the ball? Can they do anything in the run game against this Texas defensive line? And I've got to, PK is going to be out there to prove that this is going to be a long year for everybody that tries to run against this front. You're going to have problems. People had problems against the run up the gut against them. So I expect for Rice to do what most teams do at Texas, try to break down the perimeter. How can we get to the outside? What do we have to do? Do we have to double team? Do we have to keep a tight end in the game in order for us to, get to the perimeter of this Texas defense? But once again, Texas has proven, as they did last year, that their safeties will come up and hit you. Their cornerbacks, if you do this, they will bring pressure with their safeties, and their safeties will play like linebackers. I thought they played so well last year. Anybody that played safety at Texas, I thought, did a fine job in getting in the alleys, getting in the position that they had to be to make tackles. They made a lot of good tackles last year. And their linebackers, if you don't get on their linebackers, they got one of the best in the nation. He's going to be in those guys. He's going to come outside on the perimeter too. So can they run the ball inside? I don't think so. But will they try the outside? I do think so, because everybody tries that against Texas.
Yeah, I kind of wonder what the game plan for Rice is going to be, because the strength of the Texas defense last year was stopping the run, right? They only gave up 3.5 yards per carry. And, Alabama was on the schedule, and obviously they went through a full Big 12 schedule as well. And that includes the bowl game against Washington. So Texas saw some good offenses and still were able to hold out opposing running backs to just 3.5 yards per clip, so I don't know. Once again, like you normally think, underdog is going to try to establish the run and control the clock a little bit. I don't know if Rice is going to have the ability to do that, whether it's up the middle, whether it's off tackle. I don't know if that's going to work if this Texas run defense is as stout as it was in 2022. And hopefully it is.
And what is Rice here to do? Yeah, people say, they're here to win the game. Are they here to actually win the game, or are they here to survive this game on Saturday? They've got a season that they have to play too. This is not their I mean, they're getting a nice paycheck. They're playing against an unbelievable foe, but are they here to win the game? Or are they here to survive the game and not go back with a bunch of guys carted off the field on a very hot day on Saturday? So it all depends on what the coaches and how the coaches view it. They're going to talk about win, win, win. We're here. Our kids are going to get pumped up, but that juice will get knocked out of them really, really quickly. And what do they lean on? Do they want to run clock? Do they want to run the ball and let this clock run and not just get, mummified by this Texas defense? Or are they going to just start throwing the ball and go 3 and outs and have to give the ball back to Texas offense? What's going to be your plan of attack? Yes, you want to win, but your plan of attack is we have a long season to go too. And we can't lose a bunch of guys trying to run the ball against a Texas defense is just going to hammer us, get a lot of our kids hurt. And now we've got to go play the rest of the season. And, in our conference, we're trying to be a part of our conference. We're not trying to be the dead end of the conference in last place. And do we get that done against Texas, or do we go gun-ho? It'll feel like gun-ho for the first couple series. Then they'll start to back up, and you'll start to see what their plan is. They're definitely going to want to use some clock. They're not going to bust out of the huddle to get there and try to go quick against Texas and get a bunch of 3 and outs.
No. Well, look, Rice is trying to win this football game on Saturday. So to answer your question about do they want to win or do they want to survive, like going into the game, they're going to want to win. Like all the way up until 2:30 on Saturday, they think they've got a chance to pull off some miracle upset, right?
Yes.
But if Texas is doing what we expect Texas to do, and the Longhorns are leading this game by 4 touchdowns at halftime, then Rice, like Texas, will start to call off the dogs a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. Like when Texas starts bringing in its backups, it's not like Rice is going to leave all of its starters on the field and they're like, oh no. we've got to cover the spread, or we've got to score some points against this Texas team, or we got to make this one look closer so we don't get totally embarrassed on the scoreboard. It's like, no, they're going to start turning their focus to the rest of the year. Correct. As well. Because you're right. They're in a new conference this year. They've got 11 games after this one, just like Texas does. They're focused on other things. So now they're going into Saturday. Look, I'm sure Mike Bloomgren is going to give a Herb Brooks type of speech where he's trying to get everybody pumped up in the locker room right before kickoff on Saturday. But when the inevitable happens and Texas takes control of this one early on, then Mike Bloomgren's a smart guy. Like Rice, it's Rice. They're nerds. They're smart. They realize what's at stake here. They know they're not going to come back from some 4-touchdown deficit against Texas just because the Longhorns put their backups in. They know they've got other fish they need to fry over the course of the year.
Yeah, you got to live to fight another day for this group.
How about this comment from Evan? We need TSU shirts that say Team Girth.
There we go. Team Girth. Love that.
I ain't wearing that. You can wear that.
You're wearing length and girth. Length on the front, girth in the back.
Yeah. We just we like half of our staff gets team length shirts and half of our staff gets team girth shirts.
There we go.
And that's what we wear around when we do our remote broadcast this year. I love it. Oh man. All right, let's give some love to some sponsors before we shift gears here, Buck. What do you say we start with audio visual consultations?
Love them.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You probably can't get Tom McKay to your place by week 1, but you can get it done soon, right?
Oh, yeah. You won't have any problems. Tom McKay, hey, if that dude has to come out midnight to put up a big screen for you, believe me, that dude will, because he will be up and moving. Audiovisual consultation says everything that you need for the entertainment system of your dreams, and it is the system of your dreams. I've got 85 inches up here right now. Speaking of team girth and length, but I've got that right here in my TV. And Tom McKay and his staff, you don't have to shop for TVs and then the surround sounds and the mounts and all the equipment needed to make it work. You will be successful when you call Tom McKay and his group. They will come out, no holes in the wall, just clean, wonderful, visual, anything you want. Whether you're watching the U.S. Open tennis right now, whether you're watching Thursday night football, Monday night football, college football, audiovisual consultation is one of the largest dealers of most televisions and audio brands. And the hottest items they have in stock. All that Sonos audio equipment, Tom McKay has it out at his warehouse. So you don't have to worry about, will it be here in 3 weeks or so? Tom has it. And the good thing about all that, folks, he's not jacking up the prices like a lot of big stores are. The big box stores will jack up the prices because it's hard to get. Not for Tom McKay. He's got it out there stored just for you. Give him a call today at 512-255-8678. The smart guys that don't make you feel stupid, make that call today to Audiovisual Consultations.
You keep talking about length and girth, and then you're using the word jack when you're talking about AV
Come on, man.
consultations. Don't come on, man, me. Come on, man, you. We got kids listening to this
Don't
program.
think of it that way. Just think of it just the way I'm saying it.
I don't want
With
to
the
think
big
of it.
screen, the big 85-incher up here. Heck yeah,
Yeah.
I'm loving that, man. I may watch some tennis this weekend.
Come on.
I may watch some US, maybe some Coco golf. See how I think she played yesterday, maybe.
Yeah, she did. That's not on too late for you because some of the tennis is in prime time, you know.
That's fine. I'll watch it. I'll watch Coco.
Yeah, the U.S. Open going on in Flushing right now. Big tennis guy. Big tennis guy. All right, Buck. Let me give some love to Centex tickets, by the way. Shout out to Glenn, who was the winner of our Texas Rice ticket giveaway. Thanks to our friends at centextickets.com for making that happen. If you're not Glenn and you did not win those tickets to see the Horns take on the Owls this weekend, you can buy your tickets on site at centextickets.com. And of course, it's not just this weekend's game. Every Longhorn game all season, they've got your tickets right there at centextickets.com. And of course, it's not just UT. Whatever college you root for, they got NFL tickets, Major League Baseball tickets, the NBA, NHL, every sport, all year round. Just go find them at centextickets.com.
Good stuff, because there's a big concert, I think, coming out there in September. And I may not get her name right. Mimi Lovato, or whatever her name is.
Mimi Lovato.
Simi Lovato. It's a female. She's a great singer. Kids want to go see her. Nelly Novato, whatever. What's her name? Come on, BK.
Demi Lovato?
Yeah, is that her name?
That's somebody's name.
We're somebody's name. Yeah, they got a big concert coming out there, and people are saying can't get tickets for that. Oh no, go to Syntex Tickets. Tell Shelby you need tickets to see Mimi Novato or Nelly Novato or whatever her name is.
Nelly Furtado?
Well, is that it? Furtado? Is that her name?
I don't know. Those are two different people. Demi Lovato and Nelly Furtado.
Furtado, I think that's.
And also one. Mimi Tomato is somebody different. I don't know what the hell you're saying there.
Hard to get 2 tickets. You know, if I needed tickets to see my pen pal, I could get those at Syntex Tickets. If I needed to see that one right there, that's right, I would be able to get those right there at Syntex Tickets. If she was still touring, I would be able to get those tickets very, very easily.
Your girl T Swizzle, huh?
Yes. No
the
problem.
Handwritten letter. I
That's
still can't believe you have that. I still can't believe that's a thing.
I'll sell it eventually.
Yeah. No, you got to sell it to someone named Bucky, because it says Dear Bucky. Throwing a lot of you out there.
That's for sure.
If your name was
not a lot of Nelly Furtados out there either.
Yeah.
Mimi Tomato.
Oh, man. I don't even know. Also, shout out to Last Stand hats. You see me rocking it today. My Last Stand lid. Gear up for football season with Last Stand hats. They've got the all gas, no brakes hats that have been taking the world by storm over the last couple of years. They've got tons of great Longhorn gear on site all of the time. Plus, Texas Tech, UTSA, Texas State, North Texas. I think TCU, they've got a bunch of different schools across the state of Texas. Great gear, great hats at laststandhats.com. Plus, you can get some lids like this one as well. Great styles all of the time. We're working on getting a discount code over there as well. I got to get on my guy Mike Murphy to make sure we get that happening soon to hook y'all up with a discount. But definitely go check them out. The best way to gear up for football season is at laststandhats.com. Buck.
You're having a hard time getting over length and girth. I can tell. I can see it in your face. That thing is wearing on you a little bit.
No,
you know what I mean?
These things that I'm about to show you are wearing on me a little bit.
Oh, no.
And yeah, I'm back and forth, but hey, we're Texas Sports Unfiltered, so whatever. We'll show this. There is a very controversial teacher in Canada who recently lost her job because of security concerns sparked by her presence teaching kids. So she was a teacher. She's been a teacher up in Canada, north of the border, for a while now.
In Florida. She's not a dancer?
Not a Florida man or Florida woman.
Okay.
Up in Canada. And once again, recently lost her job at one school because parents were concerned about her teaching their children. Well, I will show you a picture of this woman, and you tell me if parents have reason to be worried about this woman teaching their children. Here we go. You seeing that?
Yes.
Now, describe what you're seeing to our great listeners who might be tuning in on the Texas Sports Unfiltered app.
That is a tall, blonde dude. Can I say it any other way?
Tall, blonde dude, what are you talking about? That's a woman, Buck. I told you. Her name is Kayla Lemieux. She's Canadian.
She has got to be 6'4", maybe. Are those boobs?
What else would they be?
I don't know. I mean, I'm very careful on how I approach women. I don't want to say when you do. I don't want to say things like that. I'm very careful of that.
There's another picture if this helps clear things up.
Oh, it does. That angle right there. Those are boobs. Those are. That's like that blue ball that I stretch my back on in the morning, and that's just one of the balls that I stretch my back. I mean, she's got two of those things.
What kind of blue balls are you talking about?
The stretch, the one you lay on and you roll, the roller ball, the big roller ball. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. So that is, I guess I'll leave this picture up for you. That is a transgender teacher by the name of Kayla Lemieux. So yeah, technically, well, you're wrong, but you're also right.
I was thinking, I mean, that's the arms, the height, the girth, the girth.
That she's got giant Z-cup prosthetic breasts, Buck. Z-cup. I didn't know those were real. Well, they're not real, but I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know you could get them that big, but apparently you can. She recently got hired at another school, and parents in Canada are outraged. They called the decision to hire her, quote, the definition of insanity. And now she is an educator at a high school in Canada. Some other school fired her and another school hired her. And apparently she dresses like this and wears tight-fitting, skimpy outfits to school all of the time. That's a huge part of why she lost her job at the old place. But somebody else has decided that she is worthy of a gig. And yeah, Kayla Lemieux.
My deal for that is, can she teach? I mean, if she can teach. But I wouldn't want to have my teacher that doesn't have boobs like that, dressed like that. I mean, I can't have her. She can't go around with Ringling Brothers, Barnum Bailey tent on her either. But that's a little tight. Well, everything's going to be a little tight, isn't it?
Yeah.
What can she wear that's not tight besides a pup tent? I mean, seriously.
Have to be like 10XL to cover those things, man.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's not inappropriate boobs; it's inappropriate dress. And if she were not as tall, not as girthy, whatever, I would want her to cover that up with my kids. So,
would you, if you were a student and you're in high school, would you want to have her as a teacher? Would you be able to focus?
I could focus. I mean, if she could teach. Can you teach? I mean, what's your job? Can you do your job?
You'd be able to focus?
I'd be okay.
Would you want that as your teacher, or would you be like trying to switch classes here? No,
I wouldn't want her to be my teacher. But if they decided that's what was going to happen, she'd do her job, I'd do mine. But the dress, the way she's dressed is inappropriate. That's on purpose. That's not, and I mean, I know it's comfortable for her. As I said, you can't run around and go to Academy Sports and Outdoors and get a tent for each boob. I mean, I don't think you can. Maybe you can. But that dress is inappropriate. It would be inappropriate if she was thin and, and somebody had stuff hanging out. I mean, but if you can teach, I guess.
Some heroes wear capes, some wear enormous fake breasts, but
some wear pup tents.
Some wear pup tents. Yeah, I would not want that teaching my kids, man. Like I'm going homeschool, or I'm switching schools. My kids are hitting the portal. My kids are hitting the portal, if they've got that as a teacher. So yeah, just wanted to show you that. Congrats to Kayla Lemieux on
and never show me that again. That can't be one of those permanent things like you bring up. It just can't be. It can't be like the handshake with Joe Buck. It can't. No.
You don't want to see this every day?
No, I don't want to see that every day. It's almost like I don't want to see that handshake, that little fingered handshake by Joe Buck. That's also no, that can't be. It just can't happen anymore.
What a time to be alive. Yeah, that's we got to have a wager on this show, and the loser has to have a picture of that like over their bed. So when you wake up this morning, that's the first thing you see. The
Save that for my doc. Doc Trey would like that.
You think so? You think Doc Trey is into that?
He would help her with her exercises for sure.
Oh, it's gotta hurt. Gotta hurt the back, doesn't it?
Of course it does.
Oh my God!
Not even relax the back can probably help that. I mean, that's over. That's not over the top. That's over the front for sure.
I'll let you speak about relax the back right now, because you're right. I don't think they could help her, but they helped you, and they've helped thousands of Texans over the years.
Yes, and they're going to help you also. They helped Doc Trey, and they've helped me. I mean, I needed this comfort for my back because, folks, I had reconstructive surgery in my thoracic back about 20 years ago. And there wasn't a chair out there that I could sit and be comfortable in. It didn't matter whether I was doing radio, whether I was podcasting, anything. I just couldn't sit comfortably. I would just wiggle around and squirm around, but relax the back. They have all different types of chairs, and they have a chair that will fit you. And you can discover the relaxation that I do, and you can live pain-free. And they've been doing this for over 35 years, proven expertise. And they've got a chair just for you. All you have to do is go by one of their wonderful stores in BK's, at the Hill Country Galleria across from Whole Foods, and in Austin at the Gateway Shopping Center across from the Container Store. Live pain-free like the Buck and relax the back. Thank you to those folks over at Relax the Back for sure.
Yeah, Relax the Back has chairs that can fit you, unlike those women's breasts. They do not fit her.
Him or anybody else.
Make her. Get this one right, okay? And have to make you go through sensitivity training here on Texas Sports Unfiltered.
That's a daily process now.
Yeah, no kid. Let's hear from Steve Sarkisian as we continue to preview Texas and Rice. Once again, 2 days away from game day at DKR Texas Memorial Stadium. If you're just joining us, we'll have a pregame show, a 2-hour pregame show. The Buck and myself live at Covert Bee Cave. Come by and say hello to us. We'll be there from 12 to 2, which means, we'll give you a little bit of time to get home as well, to be on your couch or at wherever you want to be at to watch the game when we get to kick off at 2:30. Also, post-game with Trey and Kevin will be on Texas Sports Unfiltered on the YouTube channel and on the app as well, immediately following the conclusion of the Longhorns win over Rice. Yeah, I'm saying it, Buck. The Longhorns win over Rice.
That's why they play the games.
Yeah, well, let's hear from Sark, because, look, we know what's next week. Everybody knows what's next week. And I'm sure, the Texas coaching staff has done a lot of preparing for next week before this week, right? Like that.
They did that in January.
Exactly. I mean, as soon as the season ended, I think the attention shifted from Rice to Alabama. But, hey, you still got to play the team that's in front of you. And you're right. We've seen some crazy upsets in the history of college football. So you got to make sure you're, I guess, prepared for this game on Saturday. Sark was asked if he thinks his team feels a sense of urgency, even though they're playing against Rice in game one.
Sure. I think our guys are really excited. Like I just got done talking to them. As much as we're excited to play on Saturday, we need to do a great job this week of being present today, and we need to focus on today. Saturday will come soon enough. We need to be present today, and we need to be taking in all the information today, and then go out and try to do it tomorrow. And so we're excited. Our guys have worked really hard, and so ultimately I want them to play really well. And so my job as the coach is to prepare them to play well, and them understanding Saturday's a few days from now. So let's focus on where we're at. Let's be present today.
Yeah, this is the day. This is a really mental test for guys. I mean, this is on Thursdays. You go through specific plays, specific down and distance situations, offensively and defensively, and you want those things done right, BK, because tomorrow is just walkthrough. Tomorrow is when the guys come out, they jack around, talk to each other, they talk about their girlfriends, they talk about what happened at school today. Their focus starts to kind of go in different directions. You'll put them on the sideline, and talk and say, this guy got hurt, who comes in on the special teams. Yes, you have to pay attention to that. But today's a real focus day where you're still going kind of full speed at it a little bit. Now, you're not banging around, but you're going, you're running routes hard. You're doing things on defense hard. You're coming off of blocks. You're still working your mental game. And he wants that done correctly today. That hay's still not in the barn. It's rolled up, but they're not loading it in the barn yet. Tomorrow will be the loaded kind of in the barn day, but you still want to be focused. You want your guys focused all the time. The thing about football is, dude, you want them to be focused. When you go, most teams will stay off campus on a Friday night before a Saturday game. And depending on what time you play, night games, you spend a lot of time at the hotel, over at the hotel room. Coaches hate it. I always hated it. I was in charge of bedtime stuff, and guys had to be in bed at a certain time. I had to go knock and say, okay, she's got to get out. I'm going to turn around. I'm going to walk down the hall, and all the noise I heard in there, she's got to be gone. Or she's or he's or whoever's in there with you, they got to be. So I'd walk down the hall. I'd come back, and then they'd open up the door, and I said, thank you very much. It's time for you guys to go to bed. So for these guys, coaches are really weird about on the road stuff. Thursday is a very important day in football for coaches and the mental part of what they have to prepare for Saturday. Walkthroughs are okay, but walkthroughs are generally guys just screwing around, whatever. If they're semi-focused, you're okay. The nights at the hotels, you can't have guys run around, in their skimpies running through the hallways and acting like fools, or up till 2 o'clock in the morning, playing video games when they need to be getting their rest. Today is an important day mentally for a football team. So he's kind of worried. They all get worried about that. There's not Nick Saban. They all worry about this part of it.
You keep talking about she's. You keep talking about she's and he's. You talking about the Canadian teacher maybe being in one of your players' hotel rooms?
In this day and age, who knows? That's why I got to mix in the he's and the she's. Now I can't just say, "Hey, get her out of there." I've done that. I did that for 20 some years as the assistant coach. I was the put them to bed guy, because I was the guy that wasn't going to kick down the door and open up the room and said, hey, you're in trouble for having this person in your room, even though you should be in trouble for having that person in the room. I would say, I'm going to take a walk down the hall. When I come back, it just needs to be you two, the room. I know who's in that room. There needs not to be anybody else there. I'm not checking under beds. I'm not looking in closets. Just be mature enough. Oh, you're already in trouble for the fact that I know somebody else is in that room.
Yeah.
But listen, I'm not bending over and looking underneath your bed so that you can hide that person. And when I leave, they generally would say out. People would be flying down the stairways, stairwells, going out to their cars in the back. That generally happens. But on the field today is very important. So Sark wants to make sure that everything's, they got everything right today.
Yeah. Well, we had Quan Cosby on the show a couple of days ago. And if you missed that interview, check it out on YouTube. Separated the interview and put it up as a video yesterday. And he talked about the culture being different, right, around the University of Texas. And if the culture truly is different, you won't have to worry about stuff like that, right? Like if these players are truly bought in on trying to win a conference championship and trying to compete for a spot in the college football playoff this year, you hope you don't have those bad apples trying to sneak people in to the hotel room, trying to stay up past curfew. I get it. They're college kids. Sometimes that stuff happens. Like not everyone's going to be perfect all season long. And
I was on a championship team and won the first Big 12 championship, and I had to scurry people out of the hotel. And we won the game. And we won over a Nebraska team that we were a 21-point underdog. And I still was scurrying people out of hotels that night. Boys will be boys.
Yeah. Well, the hope is people are bought in, man, and that stuff doesn't become a big time distraction that costs Texas a game or a couple of games this season, because that would be a huge problem. And look, I feel a lot better about this Rice game than I do about the Wyoming game for a few different reasons. Now, I still feel good about the week 3 matchup against Wyoming. I fully expect Texas to win that one and to win that one pretty handily. But there are a few reasons why I feel better about this one. Number one, I think Wyoming's better than Rice. That's obvious. Sure. But this Saturday, Texas, these players have worked so damn hard all off season long. Winter workouts, spring ball, fall camp. Practice is supposed to be harder than the games, right?
Yes.
But I think the big time programs, that's the case. The talent you're going up against practice is tougher than the talent you go up against on Saturdays. And just the amount of work that you put in throughout the week and throughout the spring and throughout the off season, like that's supposed to be tougher than what you do on Saturday. Game day is supposed to be fun. And like, this is the time for Texas this Saturday, starting at 2:30, to just unleash everything that they've worked for over the last 7 or 8 months. Like, this is their first chance to actually showcase their abilities, but everything that they've worked for, they get to put on display this Saturday. So this is the fun part, right? Coaches talk.
Oh yeah. When Georgia and Michigan play games, that's the easy part for them. The practices, they got to just what they go through at practice playing against NFL players. One will be in their face and they'll turn around. Then there's another one in their face. Those are the hard parts. When the practice is hard, that's when your teams are good. When the practices are way, way harder than what the games are. You go at a different pace. You're playing somebody different. You don't know as much about that person, but it'll take you 1 or 2 series to know that, my God, my practice is way harder than playing against this dude.
Yeah. I don't want to sit here and act like game day is easy, because it's not. But
right.
Yeah, look, game day is supposed to be fun. Like, it's fun getting to play college football. The practice, the work, that's all practice. Hopefully, look, this Texas team, just everything they've worked for, once again, they get to showcase it on Saturday. This is their first opportunity to showcase it. So that's why I feel really good about, even though Alabama's on the schedule next week, this not being an overlook spot for the University of Texas. The Wyoming game, that's week 3 of the season. That's after the Alabama game, right? Like, that one makes me a little bit more nervous because, well, you're coming off of Alabama. You either win that game in Tuscaloosa and everybody is heaping praise on you, and hell, Texas might be a top 5 team in the country if they win that game at Bryant-Denny on September 9th. And then boom, well, after playing that SEC team and beating that team on the road in their house, 7 days later, you got to get up for a non-conference game against an inferior opponent. That one scares me a little bit. And then if Texas loses that game, Buck, it's also scary, because it's like, you worry about the hangover effect. Like, oh man, we lost. That was our biggest game. We put so many eggs in that basket and we couldn't get it done. And then you worry about the mindset of this football team, and if they're able to get things back on track. They've had months to prepare for Rice. This is their first chance to actually play somebody else. I'm not worried about them overlooking somebody. They know what they want to do, and they know what they get to do this weekend. I'm more worried about one of these types of games midway through the season, or at least after week 1, potentially coming back to bite you.
And good teams don't have those kind of highs and lows. They just play. They play the people that are in front of them. They do the things that they do at practice. If they're practicing well, if their team's buttoned up, and it really matters to them, it won't matter this week, next week, or the Wyoming game. It'll be about Texas. It won't be about the opponent. It won't be about how high you got for Alabama. And then whether you win or lose that game, the game at Wyoming will be different. It won't be any different. All 3 games won't be any different, BK. The opponents will be different, but your team shouldn't be any different. You shouldn't be any higher or any lower. You should be looking forward to playing in those games, no matter who your competition is, because your practices are hard as hell. That's what's hard on you. Like you said, the games are the easy part, even playing against teams like Alabama. This is what you're supposed to be enjoying. That's why you've worked so hard in January and February. And then you get out here in this crazy heat and do the things that you've been doing inside of that helmet and on that football field. You want to get to the games. You want to have fun. You want to put all the good stuff out there for you. So you don't want to be too high. You don't want to be too low for anybody. You just want to play a football game where it means that much to you, no matter if it's Rice, Alabama, Wyoming, TCU, no matter if it's a championship game. The part you want to get to is the fun part, and that's in the game. And the rest of it is what your coaches have taught you and what you've learned from your coaches and how you've honed in your skill. That's the fun part. So don't get too high, don't get too low. I'm a football player. This is the way I play the game. By the way, this is the way that I play the football game at practice. This is the way I play the games. It doesn't matter who's across from me. This is the way I play the game. And I think that's what Sark is feeling like he's getting to right now. So it should be interesting. I know everybody will be, we kind of have a feeling what will happen on Saturday, but we really don't know what will happen the following week. Well, if they come out on Saturday and do the things, they're supposed to still do the same things. I figure, I don't care who the opponent is. I know what Alabama and what their history has been. You know what Georgia's history has been. But you also know what TCU's history is. You know what Texas Tech. It's not like you've never seen those teams before. You've never played against them. You've never coached against them. The games matter. The games count. That's where you have your fun. So go have fun in the game. Don't get too high. Don't get too low, because the next week I play somebody else anyway.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's hear one more from Steve Sarkisian. One of the position battles that Texas fans have been keeping an eye on throughout fall camp is the battle at right guard, right? Cole Hudson, the starter there last year. He's obviously back for another year on campus, but he's been pushed by the 5-star DJ Campbell in his second year in the program. Sark was asked about DJ Campbell and about how that right guard battle is shaking out. And here is the head coach at the University of Texas.
Yeah, so he and Cole will be in there at right guard. They'll both play. And like I said, I've been proud of DJ. I think not only has he physically matured, I think that he's mentally matured. I think, when you're in the fire a little bit more, you understand the stove is hot, and so you got to be prepared. And so, I think where he's gotten himself to is that he's earning the opportunity to play. And like I said, he and Cole will both get opportunities on Saturday.
And that's good. That's a good thing for the team. That's what you need. You need a 1 and you need a 1A. You've got to have 2 guys ready to go at each position. Every position on that football team has to have 1 and 1A and then a 2. I don't go from 1 to 2. 1 and there's got to be a 1A. I mean, there's a guy that comes in there for you that you don't miss a beat with. And it sounds like they have that. And that's good for that football team, especially on the offensive line. They're very fortunate to have a starter at center for 4 years now. And he may not be that guy that everybody, we kept hearing, oh, they wanted a bigger body. They needed to have a big 6'4", 320-pound center. Well, this guy's been your leader. He's been there for you. He's gotten hurt. He's come back. He's battled. He's been right there for 4 years. That's the kind of leader I want. I don't care if he's 6'2", 250. If he can get the job done and he's my leader and he guides the offensive line, I like what they have at center. I like what they have on the offensive line. And the more, the merrier for me.
This O-line was very good last year, and I think with DJ Campbell playing more this year, the line has potential to be even better this year. I mean, Cole Hudson did a great job last year as a freshman, being thrown into the fire, and he held his own. He was really solid at that right guard spot for the Longhorns in 2022. But, I mean, DJ Campbell was a former top 10 recruit in the country. Like, the potential for this guy, meaning the potential for this offensive line as a whole, I think is a lot higher with Campbell out there. So, yeah, I think I expect this group to be better. And for years, Buck, even going into last year, I won't go revisionist history. Going into last year, I was worried about the offensive line. I've been worried about the offensive line at the University of Texas every year since like 2008, honestly. It's been such a long time since I've been able to feel confident that, no, Texas has one of the best offensive lines in college football. There have been years where I don't think Texas has had like a top 5 O-line in the Big 12, which is ridiculous. Like, even in the last few years when this has been a 10-team league, there have been years where I'm like, no, we don't even have a top 5 in the conference offensive line. Now, this year, I think the Texas offensive line has a potential not to be the best in college football, but to be a top 10 O-line in the nation. And that would be huge.
That's a combination of running the ball and protecting for the pass too. They should be they'll be pretty good at that. And they've got a number of guys who can come in the game and, as I said, be 1 and 1A. And they shouldn't miss a step. They got quality players right now in this offensive line.
That's how you win in college football.
For sure.
And that's really how you win in the SEC. Like, I know we're a year away from playing in the SEC, but obviously we've got an SEC opponent, a team that for the better part of the last 15 years has dominated that conference and dominated college football too. Like, they're different on the lines of scrimmage. Like, that's where you have to build. And I finally feel like Texas has an SEC caliber offensive line. I think the defensive line is close, right? Like, the interior of the defensive line, I think, is there. I still have some questions about the edge. With Colin Simmons coming in next year, I think that'll obviously help out a lot. And hey, maybe Anthony Hill becomes an edge rusher over the course of this season. So boom, that question could be answered relatively soon for Texas. But man, you watch, everything just looks different. I get the old, it just means more, but guys look different in the SEC, man. And some of the offensive lines that Texas has trotted out there in the last...
They look like NFL players. That's what they look like.
Some of the O-lines that Texas has trotted out there in the last 15 years don't look anything close to NFL players. So now I actually feel like they've got an O-line that can hang with some of the best defensive fronts in college football.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it. Of course, our eyes will be on that offensive line because our eyes will be on those running backs and how they run the ball and how successful they are. Because if they're not successful running the ball against Rice, yes, every team is different. Get psyched up to play Alabama. But if you can't run it against these guys Saturday, you're going to have problems. I'm not going to say you can't run it, but you will have problems against Alabama if you're not the things that you want to do. I mean, the things that you want to do in the run game, you can't do it against Rice because of a player or your inability at the offensive line position to get it done against Rice. You know, if you have a number that you're shooting for and you don't get to that number and you're way lower than the number that you want, that's a problem. Now, does it get resolved in a week? Yeah, you move and shuffle guys around and can maybe get it done. But, dude, if they don't get it done in game one, it's going to be hard to get it done in game two. I'm not going to say they won't get it done because every game is different. Every opponent's different. But they will have a hard time in game two. Or you're just going to say, no, they won't get it done in game two if they can't get it done in game one.
They won't get it done in game two if they don't get it done in game one. I mean, come on. Like, it's not like they'll have another full off season to get things figured out. They'll have 6 days, and then they're going into the lion's den trying to slay the dragon that is Alabama. If the O-line struggles, which they won't, if they somehow, some way struggle against Rice, then I'll have zero confidence that the O-line is going to be good in Tuscaloosa, which means I'll have zero confidence that Texas is going to win that game in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, this is your way to really build depth on your team, a game like Rice, and build confidence in your players too. As they're playing against somebody different, they're seeing a different face. They're seeing the guys that only know some of them, they don't even know you on film. Hell, a bunch of them were such babies last year that got a chance to play. They have film of some of those babies, but some of the other ones that didn't play as freshmen, they don't even have any film on you. So you should be able to go in there and just manhandle a bunch of their kids. You really should.
Yeah, and it's not just burnt orange BK here drinking the Kool-Aid with this offensive line. Like, I've got the Phil Steele preview magazine next to me right now. He has Texas as the 4th best offensive line in the country. So the national expectations for this group are to be really, really good, and it'd be so disappointing. Oh, my God, so disappointing if this O-line group takes a step back this year. I don't expect it to happen, but this is the first time, once again, in a long time that I've been bought in on a UT O-line. Hopefully they don't let me down. Hopefully they don't let any of us down. Hey, a little less than 10 minutes away from a major announcement coming to Texas Sports Unfiltered. I told y'all we weren't done. That's right. We've got another addition to the lineup that we are going to tell you people about in a little less than 10 minutes. That's right. Coming up on 9:30, a new show that's going to start next week right here on Texas Sports Unfiltered. We will tell you and show you who it is in a little less than 10 minutes.
We will see a face. You got a visual coming up too?
We will have a visual, another mug coming up on this screen. Yeah. Maybe a scary thought, a bunch of radio dudes on camera, but that's where we're at here at TSU.
Well, let me tell you about another group that won't let you down, the Covert family. Since 1909, the Covert family has been selling cars and trucks in Central Texas, and they've got this wonderful location in Bee Cave, Texas, folks. And they've got the state-of-the-art dealerships carrying 7 brands: Buick, GMC, Cadillac, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and, of course, the Ram is out there just for you. And, folks, the one out in BK says everything that you want. They've got something for everybody. And Covert BK serves all GM models, 86 service bays throughout. And, folks, the waiting time, minimal. You're going to love the folks when you go out there. Do say hello to Dan and, of course, Mike and Stacy. And, folks, I'm going to give you a name, BK. I'm going to give you a name of a young man out there that if you're interested in buying one of those 7 brands, and do look at that Cadillac Escalade for sure out there, Cameron Colley. That's right. I'm going to give you Cameron Colley, one of the dealers, one of the salesmen out there. I'm going to give you his telephone number. So if you're in this Austin area of Central Texas, hell, you don't have to be in Austin. You can come from anywhere in Central Texas to the Coverts because they have dealerships all over Central Texas. But call on Cameron Colley at 512-648-1374. I'm giving out the dude's cell number.
Is he okay with this?
I don't care. Cameron Colley, 512-648-1374. He's out there at the dealership of that beautiful 42 acres out there in Bee Cave, Texas, the site of our pregame show, my friend. That's right.
How about that? How'd you get that dude's number?
Thank you very much. The boss. If the boss says call him up, you guys call him up. Inundate that dude and tell him you want to talk to him about buying one of those Rams or one of those Cadillac Escalades or a Pontiac. You let Cameron Colley know that you're coming for him, and he better give you a deal. He better sell you a car. If you come out there to that showroom, they've got 3 beautiful showrooms out there, BK. We've been out there. We've got an office out there. So their showroom is absolutely magnificent out in BK, right off of Highway 71. and Cameron Colley will be there for you. You call him anytime. I don't care what time of the day or night it is. You tell him you want to buy. Tell him you want to buy that Ram.
Oh,
that Ram.
This guy's gonna hate us, man. He's gonna be getting calls at like 2 or 3 in the morning on Saturday night. Like, oh, Bucky said you could call anytime. He's gonna hate you for this.
Go out there and point out the ride that you want and tell Cameron Colley to meet you out there at 3 a.m. and get his ass out of bed and get him out there selling you cars and trucks.
Remember what they say. Nobody beats a covert deal.
Not now, not ever.
Amen. Amen. Shout out to them. Shout out to our friends at 7-Eleven as well. Gear up and fuel up for game day with 7-Eleven. They've got the Slurpees, the Big Gulps, the beer. Yeah, that's right. The beer, the snacks, everything you need is at 7-Eleven. They are your go-to convenience store to get you through football season, also to get you through these red hot summer months here in the Lone Star State. They've got locations all over Austin, all over Dallas, all over Fort Worth, all over Houston, all over the state. They are everywhere. Make sure you download the 7-Eleven app and cash in on the 7 Rewards program as well. Shout out to our guy Ashish, big Texas Sports Unfiltered fan, big Longhorn fan. He runs 3 7-Elevens across Austin. He will take care of you.
Yeah,
Shout
man.
out to 7-Eleven.
I used to, I wish that rewards program was around 23 years ago when I wasn't sober, because I would have cashed in when I'd had to go in there and get myself a quart. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I used to crush the 7-Eleven.
A quart.
I get that 32 ounce and have it with me for the ride.
Tall boy?
Man. Oh, you had to have a tall boy for sure. That was back in the day. What was the rewards program then? Come on.
They didn't have apps back then, Buck.
Oh, my goodness.
I guess the only apps they had were like at Chili's or Applebee's. Those were the apps that you were talking about back in those days. They didn't have the phone
so
app.
Happy. Let me tell you, man.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I can't wait to talk about some of our wonderful sponsors that'll be joining us too on game day too.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's right. I'm wearing my Clean Cause shirt.
You're pointing to the wrong.
It's hard for me to do that with all there it is. There it is, my Clean Cause shirt. That's right.
You're pointing to a gray shirt. Like, what is over here?
50% goes back to those that have addiction problems at Clean Cause. Love those folks over there. Yes. Absolutely love them.
Absolutely. And if you're just joining us, it's been a big day for announcements. Once again, the major announcement coming up at 9:30 in just a couple of minutes right here on TSU. So make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend about that, because we want all of you guys tuned in for the big news that we're about to drop. But the news we mentioned earlier, yes, the pregame show live at Covert Bee Cave. Bucky and BK will be out there 12 to 2 on Saturday, and post games will be handled by Trey and KD.
And let them know BK about our Friday situation and what we're doing out there after the dove hunting is over with this weekend, as a matter of fact, also.
That's right. Yeah. Next Friday, the day before the Alabama game, Bucky and I will be out at Covert Bee Cave starting at 11:30. We'll have lunch provided by our friends at Smoky Moe's.
Yeah,
also,
man.
I think our friends at Verde's Mexican Parrilla are going to come through with some food as well. We'll be there talking ball. Trey and I are going to record our show there as well next Friday. And the legendary lifetime Longhorn Michael Griffin is going to be hanging out with us, signing some autographs, taking some pictures as well. So it's going to be a ton of fun. We're going to be out there the day before every home game, except for this one. I mean, I won't say don't go out to Covert Bee Cave tomorrow. Go out there and buy a car, but we won't be out there tomorrow. We will be there next Friday, and then the Friday before every home game for the remainder of the year. It's going to be a ton of fun out at Covert Bee Cave. We thank them. We thank all of our sponsors for supporting us here at Texas Sports Unfiltered. We've got a great group on tap so far. And hey, if you want to become a sponsor and be a part of what we're building here, because we are building something pretty damn special here, make sure you get in contact with the Buck, get in contact with me, get in contact with anybody that we have on our team at TSU.
And our group expects to be traveling. We're going to go to all the big events. So if you want to be a traveling partner with us, just let us know that you'd like to in your company. And we don't care what your company is. We will take it on, because BK will take money from anybody.
I told you guys, if ISIS is paying enough, I'm doing live reads for ISIS.
If Live Golf wants him to do his deals, he will. Absolutely.
Give me that Saudi money, baby. Give me Al Qaeda. Give me ISIS. Give me all of it.
Come on, man.
I am all in. All right, Buck. It's 9:30. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
We've got breaking news here on Texas Sports Unfiltered. We are adding to our lineup, and we're not just adding anybody. We're adding a 5-star. We're adding one of the best.
Cowherd?
No, not Colin Cowherd. No, we don't want that dude.
Okay.
We don't need his ridiculous takes that he spews every single day. Now, somebody better than Colin Cowherd, a fan favorite, a guy who is so incredibly well known all throughout Central Texas. This guy, I mean, I feel like he's the mayor of Austin, man. Whenever I hang out with this dude, everybody knows who he is, and I feel like I just moved here and I'm living here for the first time. This guy is the king. He's one of the best sports media personalities we have in our city, and he is a major, major addition to Texas Sports Unfiltered. His new show will start on Monday from 11 to 12.
Hardball!
What's up?
Hardball Harge, the newest member of Texas Sports Unfiltered. The new show, Hanging with Harge, starts on Monday. It'll be every weekday from 11 to noon. Hardball, what's going on, my man? Welcome to the team.
Hey, man, I'm glad to be a part of it. You guys have been cracking me up all morning. Bucky and his girth and length and all these conversations, man. I understand, Coach Flood says he likes big humans, but Bucky's taking it to a whole.
Come on, man.
So you're not team girth, Harge?
Hey, listen, I've been around that for a while. So
He's been around.
Your boy does well, but we're not going to that level. I am, but let's get back to it, man. I'm excited to be with you guys. You guys have done a great job. Obviously, the respect that I have for both of you young men. Bucky, I said that word young.
I did. I heard that.
Made me feel better a little about that. But I'm excited to be with you guys. You guys have done a great, great job of setting this whole situation up. You've been very persistent, my friend. You've been very persistent, BK, and glad to have you back in the area. And obviously, everybody is excited to be a part of this. So thank y'all for having me, and I'm ready to get down with you guys.
Yeah, well, you were worth the persistence,
you, brother.
Yeah, you're absolutely worth the persistence, my friend. It's huge getting you on board. We know a lot of people have been trying to court you over the last few weeks, so to get you on our team, that's a major, major win.
You know who's been thinking about you? This is guy who's been thinking about you right here. The captain. Our captain is back. Our baseball captain is back. My baseball captain, I want you to bring him back too. When you start talking about baseball, never leave the captain out.
Yeah, the captain needs some help right now. Yeah, you guys need some help right now. You need him to go and right that ship.
Another doubter, BK.
Oh, my God. Don't scare him off, man. We're excited about bringing Harge on the team, and now you're scaring him with that Jeter figurine that you play with before you go to bed at night. God. So, Harge, look, everyone knows you, I think, in this city and in Central Texas and really in the entire state of Texas. It feels like everyone knows you, man. But tell people about Hanging with Harge, once again, Monday to Friday, starting next Monday from 11 to 12. Tell people about what they are going to get when they tune into your show.
You're going to get a smorgasbord of conversation. Obviously, we're going to talk a lot of the Texas Longhorns. Football season is right upon us. We're going to talk some baseball. We're going to talk a lot of NFL as well, because there's so much that has been thrown out there, and it's been driving me crazy to not be able to talk about some of these things. It's been one of those things where the Cowboys are always in the conversation. The Texans are part of the conversation, what they're trying to build. And we're going to continue to push all of that. But also we're going to have some fun too, because I want to talk a lot about the baseball season. This is that time of the year where everything is starting to ramp up. I'm going to talk to our man KD, try to get him on with me a couple times, especially during these pennant chases. But most importantly, man, I'm just ready to start talking about the Texas Longhorns and this pursuit to get to the Big 12 championship. Bucky, you started this thing when you won the first Big 12 championship way back in the day.
Way back, Harge.
One Priest Holmes.
Let me ask you this: Are you gonna get Chipper? Is Chipper Jones gonna come on with you too sometime?
Absolutely.
Because I love those conversations. Those are great conversations from a great pro, a Hall of Famer. I love when you get a chance to talk to him. But let me just say this: this is some bullshit that we're working on Monday. Isn't this a holiday? I didn't even say anything about that. I haven't said one word about. I mean, isn't it Labor Day?
Hey, I've been working on that. he was going back and forth with me. I was like, hey, man, I'm going to come on Tuesday. He was like, what about Monday? We did some big weeks.
Yeah, that's right. What about
trying
Monday?
to take the day off, man? Labor Day. I've been off long enough, Bucky. I've
been working long enough. I'm so damn tired. I'm thinking everybody else is doing cookouts on Labor Day. It's Labor Day. You're not supposed to be out there laboring. And this dude here is I got to go up these 18 flights of stairs to get up here. You
got that kind of house, bro?
Not 18
have an elevator up in here.
18 steps.
Okay, 18 steps. 18 steps, yes.
God, yeah. It's week 3 of this thing, Harge, and Bucky has already taken 3 load management days, and now he's asking me for a 4th one. Like, come on. Labor Day. You labor on Labor Day.
LeBron? Are you LeBron? You taking all these days off already?
Kawhi's dad.
Kawhi.
Yeah, people have been calling him Kawhi Leonard Sr. Oh, man. Well, while we've got you, Harge, look, we don't need to wait till Monday for you to start talking Texas football, man. Your thoughts, your expectations for this season opener against Rice this weekend.
Yeah, I want to make sure we go on the record before the season starts. So if anybody comes at me and says, wait a minute, you didn't say this. No, I'm telling you right now, we are going and we are looking at a 10-2 football team. And that's on the low end. That is on the low end. So I'm staying at that. I'm looking at this team. There are some games that kind of scare me from here to there, but you know as well as I do, everything boils down to what happens on the sideline. We've had the talent here for quite some time. There's been a lot of talk about this team and where it ranks so far when you start looking at who they are as a team as far as recruiting is concerned. You've got the talent there. All the talent is there. Yeah. It's everything that's going to happen on that sideline. And I think that is going to be the biggest, how do you say, troubled area? Yeah. Just because we know he's a great coach. He's a great game planner, as Bucky has talked about before. But what is he going to do in those crunch time moments that he needs to help this team pull out a win? Those are some of the things that I'm definitely going to be looking at this season.
Yeah, so I'm with you, man. Sark is
by the way, you pulled up your guy. We gotta talk about Dak Prescott.
Oh no, not that guy. They've got a guy to replace him already. Hey, they got Trey. They've got Lance. They got the Lance man ready to replace that dude.
Don't do that to yourself.
The pressure to him.
Don't do that to yourself. I heard y'all's discussion yesterday, and I appreciate you, BK, talking about. Are you serious with this? Are you serious with this Trey Lance experience? Listen, we'll get into this a lot, but I'm looking at him just this way. He didn't do well with Kyle Shanahan.
Right.
If anybody can bring out, and we've seen what he can do with subpar quarterbacks, this guy risked it all and made trades to go and get him at number 3, and he can't even make it. Mr. Irrelevant beat him out. So what makes you think that he's going to come in and be the savior for the Dallas Cowboys? Dak Prescott is the man. He's going to be the quarterback. He is the face of the organization. He will always continue to be there. Yes, we all agree he's got to win the big game. We all understand that. But let's look back through history. How many other quarterbacks have been able to win the big game? There's only a few. There's only a few.
He's not the face of the Dallas Cowboys. The face plays on defense. The guy who's about to pull up the Brinks truck and pay him all the money in the world. That guy plays.
All the sponsors that BK has, that's what they're going to be paying.
Oh, yeah. Michael Parsons is about to get all the money that the Cowboys have. So,
Hold on. The face is that old white dude with a bunch of Botox.
Oh, yeah.
You mean the Crypt Keeper?
Yeah.
That is the real face.
That's the face.
The Crypt Keeper.
It's so good to have you. It's so good to have you with us, man. I mean, we've been looking forward to this. We really have. And that spot is going to be prime for you. You're going to have wonderful guests. You're going to do wonderful things. And as I said, we'll have such a baseball presence because, myself and the captain just can't get it done. Obviously, we're in last place.
Y'all need to hire the captain, but wait.
There you go.
He didn't do that well in Miami. They ran him out of there too.
Yeah, that's true.
He is your best shortstop, but he's not your best front office person.
No.
Yeah.
Hey, since you are hardball Harge after all, Well, we've got you. Some baseball, man. I mean, the
Let's talk
AL
about it.
West, like yesterday, we had a 3-way tie for first place in the AL West. The Rangers dropped a heartbreaker to the Mets in extra innings last night.
Chapman, that's because he was a Yankee. That's why he's hitting people.
Yeah, that's
why.
exactly it. Yeah. Not clutch because the Yankees aren't clutch, but then
Right.
again, it's fitting he's on the Rangers because the Rangers aren't clutch either.
I know.
Your thoughts on that 3-horse race in the AL West, and who do you ultimately think wins the division when it's all said and done, Harch?
I mean, is there a hotter team than the Seattle Mariners at this point? I mean, I think they set the major league record, or at least put the pressure on everybody else out there. It is kind of crazy when you look at that AL West. The front runner has always been the Houston Astros. I mean, Vegas had them winning it back before the season even started. I went to spring training with the Rangers this year. I knew they were going to be a good team. They're the ones that are going all after it. But it's still Houston. It's still Houston.
Yeah.
They are the team that are starting to get all their players back. Altuve's starting to get healthy. They just brought back Michael Brantley. You look at Jeremy Pena and what he did last year. He struggled a lot this year, but then he goes out and has a 5-hit game. Jordan is coming back. Chas McCormick is starting to do some amazing things as well. So it's a real interesting time, but I think I'm really hoping for the Rangers to be in this mix because I've been riding with them all year. But these Seattle Mariners, did they peak a little bit too early? Did they win all those games to get into the race and then come back at the end of it? They're going to have to scale back a little bit. It's going to be interesting.
They seem to do this every year, Seattle. They find a way to get in the thick of things, but then they'll just kind of peter out hard. I mean, somebody out of those three right now, they would all be in, but somebody's not getting in. Somebody's going to go to towards the end, start going down. And I'm just trying to figure. I don't think it's going to be the Astros. I mean, they have too much experience.
Exactly.
They know how to get to playoff games. They know how to win championships, and they know what it takes to get to a championship. The Rangers are still young at it, but they just got a better total team, I think, than the Mariners do. So I'm thinking Seattle is going to just fade like they always have done. They just haven't been there enough. And then again, neither have the Rangers. The Rangers aren't the Rangers just a better team all around right now?
They are definitely a better team. They're better offensively. Bringing in Matt Scherzer has helped them a lot. You thought bringing in DeGrom was going to put them over the top, but then he goes down with that injury. You're still trying to get back Nathan Eovaldi. He hadn't been the same. He's coming back from his injuries. Those are the types of pitchers that you're going to need here shortly. So I'm thinking that the Rangers and the Astros are both going to come in. I think they play each other next weekend, actually, at some point. So it's going to be a fun race. I'm excited for it, but I do believe that it's going to be the Astros and the Rangers are the two teams out of the West that are going to be there. In the NL, look at what the Atlanta Braves are doing, man. It is. Those dudes, you talked about the talent, but just a little while ago. From 1 to 12, they are loaded. No matter, even if they bring guys up and they just come in to fill in, they start playing well. They had a tough season at the beginning because Michael Harris II wasn't playing well, but you got Ronald Acuna, who is putting records out there that haven't been around and the first ever to do certain things. And then Azuna's starting to play a lot better for them in that DH position. You look at the first baseman, Olsen hitting bombs all over the place. You got Riley. You got a great pitching staff with Strider. That is why Chipper Jones told me a long time ago. He said these Braves teams are going to be in it for quite some time because of their farm system, develops these players. And, we were talking about free agency a while back and what's going to happen when all this stuff starts to happen with Shohei Ohtani. Think about this. The Atlanta Braves do what I think a lot of teams should try to do early, and they wrap up their young talent and they can keep them in there for quite some time. I think a lot of teams miss that mark, but the Braves are forward thinking. And when they believe in you as a player, they're going to wrap you up on the front end of your contract. So if you want to go out and try to get some of that money later, that big, big money, you get a chance to do that. But the Dodgers too, Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts and Ronald Acuna Jr. are now battling for the MVP of the National League. The Mookie Betts is one of the most underrated players that nobody talks about.
Oh.
And I'm like, this dude is an MVP. This dude is an athlete, and he's played shortstop and second base as well this year. And nobody even brings that up. And he bats leadoff on the team for the Dodgers. That is one of the most highly decorated when you look at Freddie Freeman over there. And you still got Max Muncy hitting bombs over there. I mean, this is a fun team. And I think the National League will come down to the Atlanta Braves and the LA Dodgers.
Let me tell you something. You get a standing ovation going back to Boston as an opposing team, even though you were on the Boston Red Sox. And every time you come to bat, the fans in Boston are standing up for you. When Mookie Betts came back for the Dodgers for the first time, that's amazing. They don't do that in Boston.
I'm surprised they didn't throw something at him.
Oh, no, they will boo you no matter how good you are, no matter how good you were in Boston. If you're on an opposing team and playing against them, it's a no-go. They gave that dude a standing ovation every time he came to bat. It was amazing.
No doubt. I love it. It
was the dumbest thing they ever did, too, getting rid of Mookie Betts.
They've done some dumb things in Boston before.
Babe Ruth, they've done some pretty dumb things.
Yeah, they have. Well, Harge, we're super excited to have you on board, man. Thanks for jumping on this morning to make this announcement with us. Once again, hanging with Harge. It starts on Monday. Yeah, I'm making him work on Labor Day, but come on, he's been out the game for a little bit. So I know
he's get back in the game. You're right.
Excited.
Right back out there, my friends.
They don't have a damn thing to do with me. I've been in the game. I've been in the game for a month and a half here, Harge.
I think you created the game, Bucky. You created the game. Hey, Buck, I'll see you tomorrow night as well. I'm coming out to watch that Cibolo Steel taking on Lake Travis game.
Lake Travis will have their hands full tomorrow with
the
team that beat them by 52-0. So that'll be an awful lot of fun over Lake Travis University there.
That's right. I can't wait. I got to get in early, man. They told me that I got to go check the dorms to make sure that all your players are getting their rest.
They got them in dorms now at Lake Travis, huh?
Heck yeah, man, they got it all.
Harge, we'll see you Monday. Thanks again.
Family. Keep up the great work. And I'm loving the fact that y'all are welcoming hardball into the game, baby. Peace.
Yeah, love you, brother. There he goes, the great hardball Harge, the newest member, Texas Sports Unfiltered. Hanging with Harge, the name of the new show that starts, once again, Monday, and will happen every weekday from 11 to noon right here on Texas Sports Unfiltered.
Love it.
And we're not done.
Oh, no, we're not done.
You thought that was it? I don't want to poo-poo Harge. Like, that's a huge get, and we're super excited about that. So I don't want to rain on that parade at all. But we've got more coming to Texas Sports Unfiltered.
That is great because the more that come on, the more days that for my load management will have people to take my spot. That's good thinking, BK. That is really good thinking.
That is not what it means at all. I don't know what you're talking about. That is not what it means at all.
Dang it.
That means we've got other shows.
Oh, I see.
Coming to Texas Sports Unfiltered.
I love it.
And I'm an idiot. I tweeted out the Harge announcement and I put the wrong name of the show.
What did you put down? It didn't put.
I put Harge Knocks Life.
Length with hardball.
No, not girth and length with. I'll do this after the show. Not girth and length with hardball. That's you. You're the girth and length guy, apparently. Those are your two favorite things in the world.
You know what else I am? I am a fan of Dr. Greg Eckert, my boy. I'm going to tell you, I'm a friend. I used to not be a fan because I was horrified going to the dentist. I really did. I really hated to go. I had a temporary filling in my mouth for 14 years. And then I met Dr. Greg Eckert and his all-star group of professionals, and they do everything from general dentistry to the most advanced work, like restoring teeth. I had my veneers put in just 2 visits with the good doctor. Now, if you're thinking about dental implants, which the doctor is doing, find out if you're a candidate for dental implants. That's right. He will turn that frown upside down in just one day. You'll leave with a smile with Dr. Greg Eckert. 512-345-3166. And general dentistry, if you've got a problem, you need to have a tooth extracted, teeth cleaning, teeth whitening, tooth loss solution. He will be there for you. Now, he's done this for over 27 years. He's had over 1,400 cases of restoring teeth. And there's no better doctor that I know, and there's no better dentist, and there's no better dentist that you need to go to if you have dental anxiety. We all have anxieties about something. You know, we're all not perfect, so there's going to be some anxieties. But you don't need to have that dental anxiety, and you won't take care of your teeth because that's going to help your basic health. Give Dr. Greg Eckert, and he's taking on new patients. Give him a call today at 512-345-3166. He's our guy for sure.
Yes, he is. I'm pretty close to perfect, don't you think, Buck?
Let's see that smile. Yeah, you get to use a little bit of the hookup. You didn't have the snaggle. I used to have the snaggle tooth, where this bottom tooth used to come out. Dr. Record got it back in there, and now I've got that Denzel look, but not that Denzel. And soon to have that Denzel money. That's right, with Texas Sports Unfiltered. Yeah,
wouldn't that be something? Golly, if we're even close to Denzel money, then we'll be sitting pretty right here. Now, I had a lot of things in my mouth back in the day, Buck.
I'm not gonna say a word, because if I said that, there would be a problem.
My parents spent so much money on getting these teeth fixed only for their son to work in radio and not television.
Braces? Did you have braces at one time?
Braces for years, man.
No.
Retainers, all sorts of stuff that just for like my entire childhood, from like 4th grade on to like 11th grade, I had some sort of appliance that I had to deal with to try to get my teeth right. And they worked. I got some good ones right now, but I got to go see Dr. U now that I'm back in Austin. I got to go to a dentist, once every 5 years you're supposed to go to a dentist?
No, you're supposed to go twice a year or 3 times a year. They call me up, and I'm still that guy that I'm always hesitant, but I get the phone calls. They're going to make sure you come in there. Your phone is going to be on the alerts, are going to be beeping at all kinds of times. Time to come in. Today's the day. Make an appointment, and that's okay.
How about this comment? Pam Cummings used to help Bucky floss. How's Pam doing?
She's doing fantastic. I was back for that 50th high school reunion. She was a year older, so I don't crash other people's reunions like some that crash my reunion, but no, I don't do that. Pam is I think she's still doing pottery in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, the capital of the great state of Pennsylvania, the Keystone State.
Is that a thing that people do? They crash other people's high school reunions?
I know you're not quite there yet where you're going to high school reunions. Are you getting close to 15 or so?
No, my 10-year was last year, and I didn't go.
Oh, so you're not, you weren't down to see him in 10 years. You're going to wait. When are you going to go, 20th?
I don't know. I almost went last year. I was planning on going, actually, but remember there was that rain delay during the World Series.
Oh, yeah.
So they had to push the World Series back. So I actually, easy choice, chose to go to Game 6 of the World Series, the game where the Astros won it all, over going to my 10-year high school reunion. I made the right choice.
Yeah, I was excited about my 50th, of course, my porta potty experience. But also, you get to be my age, you start wanting to see these people because you won't see them again. For me, a lot of those folks that I saw, that will be it. And I had some bad news this morning. One of my fellow roommates at Boston College passed away. Phil Hazard, who was one of the 4 or 5 guys that I had as roommates during the course of my 5 years at BC, passed away. And he had this guy must have had 7 or 8 kids, Phil, and his wife Julie. So my love goes out to Julie, and I'll try to get in touch and find out more information. He was from Providence, Rhode Island.
There you go.
I know his family will miss him dearly. He was a family guy. He had a son when he was a freshman in college. So his son is older than my son. I mean, it is. Wow. And I know his family's going to miss him because I think he ended up with about 7 or 8 kids. He was trying to have a football team. I mean, so I'm going to
Phillip Rivers, huh?
Yeah, in my mind, I didn't keep in very good touch with him, but the passing away of one of my roommates, that was sad to hear from another one of my great roommates in college. So hope everything's all right with that family.
Yeah, sorry to hear that, Buck. That's a bummer.
It sucks.
Yeah,
but you start to get towards that time, and we don't know when that time is. That ticket was punched the day you were born.
Yeah,
you're not getting away with it. You're not getting an extra day. You're not getting an extra breath. The good Lord is going to give you. He's going to give you the same time that he thought when you were born. When that first slap came on your ass, a ticket was punched when you were going out. Yeah, you may go out with a slap on your ass, or you can go out. You're going to go out the way that it was meant to be, and nothing's going to change about the date or the time.
I don't want to go out by getting slapped on the ass so hard that I die. That's not what I hope happens to me.
Yeah, that would be great for sure.
That's not what I'm looking for.
Oh, we got hardball hards.
Hardball Harge, yes, starting next week, 11 to 12. Tons of great conversations with Harge. He knows everybody, so he's going to have some great interviews throughout that show. He's also going to interact with you people out there. Plenty of Texas football, plenty of Cowboys football, college, the NFL, Major League Baseball. He is Hardball Harge, after all, former professional Major League Baseball player. So, he's going to talk some diamond talk on that show. Big time get for us. Super, super excited about that. A few more shout outs to some sponsors before we give some picks for these games tonight, Buck. Woods Comfort Systems. If you need your AC system serviced at your home, reach out to our friends at Woods Comfort Systems. They've been in business for more than 60 years. That's right. More than 6 decades of making sure that Central Texans are comfortable in their homes. And that's their job. They want to make sure that you and your family are comfortable in every season. AC maintenance, repair and installation, heater repair and service, ductwork, attic installation. And oh, by the way, they have plumbing services as well. Check them out online, woodscomfortsystems.com, or give them a call, 512-842-5066. Make sure you tell them you heard about it right here on Texas Sports Unfiltered. Shout out to them. Shout out to Top Gun Rentals and Lawn Equipment as well. 2 Austin area locations, one up north in Anderson Square, one down south on South 1st Street. They've got all of the supplies, all of the tools, everything you need to get anything done at your home. Small home project, giant construction job. They got it all for you right there. See them online, topgun.net. We'll shoot you straight. And of course, shout out to Altstadt Beer. I don't think I've given them some love today. My fridge is stocked. We're ready for football tonight and all through the weekend and all through the season. Yours needs to be too. Get you some of that Altstadt beer at H-E-B, at Specs, Twin Liquors, Total Wine. Wherever you go to buy your beer, you can find Altstadt on the shelves. One sip and you won't go back to the other beers you've been drinking in the past. It's Altstadt beer. No impurities, no regrets. All right, Bucky. The biggest game tonight. The 14th ranked Utah Utes taking on the Florida Gators. That one's 7 o'clock on ESPN. Who you got? Utah, a 4.5-point favorite. It doesn't sound like the Texas transfer Cameron Rising is going to be playing as he still recovers from that ACL injury he suffered late last season. So it's a former walk-on. Now, this walk-on is a junior, and he did play last year. Rising had to miss.
He's not JT Daniel. He's not there.
No, he's not JT Daniels. He's only a junior. I think this is only his 3rd year in college football, unlike JT, who's in his 33rd year of college football. But this walk-on cat did play in Pullman and did help lead Utah to a win at Washington State late last season. So he's got some experience there. Your thoughts, Florida going into Utah, who you picking?
I will take, even with a backup quarterback, I'll take Utah at home. I'll give you the 4.5. I'll give you 5. Who cares? It's a touchdown win for Utah, I think, or maybe even more. This group is just a physical group. They have been under Kyle Whittingham for years and years and years. They continue. They're still looking for the last of the Pac-12 championships again. I know my guy Lincoln Riley. My guy Lincoln Riley will have something to say about it. That's right.
You mean your guy? Your guy's Cliff Kingsbury, and the smell of his that smells like freshly tossed salad.
Where is my guy, Clean Kingsbury? He's got to be on somebody's staff. He's on the staff, I believe, somewhere, learning football, learning the game.
Yeah, he needs to learn the game a little bit.
Yeah, I'll take Utah, BK. I think Utah will win tonight.
Oh, you know where Cliffy is? He's with Lincoln Riley.
That's right. No wonder. How did they lose? How did they not cover the spread last week?
Oh, yeah, they didn't.
That's why they didn't cover the spread.
No, look, the offense was fine. They put up 56 points. The defense, it's Alex Grinch's fault. That's why they didn't cover the spread. They gave up 28 to San Jose State.
This group going to lose to Tulane again in a bowl game? Wow.
What about the other, I guess, decently big game tonight? Minnesota hosting Nebraska, the head coaching debut for Matt Rule at Nebraska. That game, though, is at Minnesota. The Golden Gophers, a 7-point favorite tonight. Any lean? Do you even care? Are you going to be watching this game?
I'll take the Golden Gophers because they will run the ball at Nebraska's defense. This is going to be a very boring game for everybody to watch. There's going to be lots of runs in this game. That's all right. The clock will be moving. It'll be a low-scoring game. It'll be in the 20s, the low 20s. But I'll take the Golden Gophers at home. Row that boat, PJ. Keep it up.
I hate betting on Nebraska, man. You can't bet on Nebraska.
No.
And maybe it's different with Matt Rule at the helm, but I'm still steering away. I probably won't touch that game. I don't think my cousin will either.
No, don't do it.
Loaded show coming up tomorrow. Lee Sterling from ParamountSports.com is going to make his Texas Sports Unfiltered debut. He's going to give you and your cousins out there a bunch of picks for this weekend and for the college football and NFL season as well. Lee will be joining us every Friday at 9:15. We're hopefully going to talk to Jeff Howe of Horns 24/7 to get some more preview of Texas and Rice. We'll set the stage for week 1 of the college football season and more big announcements.
More?
Plural. We got more announcements coming.
Wow.
The Texas Sports Unfiltered. Trey and BK coming up later today from 12 to 1. Of course, Chip and Zay from 1 to 3. Buck, great job today, my friend.
All right, same to you, buddy. I will see you in the morning.
Yes, absolutely. Thank y'all so much for watching. Thanks to Harge for jumping on and for joining the team. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Thanks to you. Until tomorrow.
Hook 'em.